Welcome, friends, to another episode of the Nationalist View. Bharat has a rich tradition of games that were not merely a source of entertainment, but also a means of teaching strategy, ethics, self-discipline, and even spiritual wisdom. From Chaturanga, the earliest known precursor to modern chess, to Moksha Patam, that is the ancient form of snakes and ladders. So these Bharatiya games they often reflect or reflected a deeper understanding of life. Today we are going to discuss a fascinating attempt to bring that tradition into modern age. And joining us is Sahil Raje Shirke, a researcher, entrepreneur, and creator of Mumukshu, a life simulating game inspired by Bharatiya civilization and rooted in concepts such as Dharma, Karma, the four Purusharthas, and the pursuit of moksha. So, where when today most games teach us how to win, Mumuksh asks a different question: can a game teach us how to live? Sahil, welcome to the Nationalist View.
Dhanyavad, ma'am. It's a pleasure talking to you, and I really like your channel and work that you have been doing.
Great. Sahil, for those hearing about Mumukshu for the first time, what exactly is this game? What
So,
does that Mumukshu means?
sure. As the name suggests, Mumukshu is it's a Sanskrit word. Mumukshu means someone who's seeking moksha. Okay, so the game essentially revolves around that only. So it is a life simulation game wherein you live your life in the game, and the just like a real life, just like our civilizational teachings, the goal of human life in the game as well is to attain moksha. But how do you do that? But by fulfilling your arthic, that is economic well-being, and kamic, your desires, but in a righteous dharmic fashion. So basically, it is ingrained in the concept of four Purusharthas. And while doing so, you explore four ashramas. The game primarily focuses on Grahasthashram and Vanaprasthashram at the end. And while doing so, you explore Bharatvarsha as a whole, and not just the current geography of Bharata, but the ancient geography of Bharata, which people only know about the Akhanda Bharat. When we say people only know about say Pakistan or Bangladesh, but maybe Afghanistan, but Indian borders stretched from modern day Syria till the Southeast Asia. So game has every bit of aspect in it. East Africa, the likes of Bali, Java, Parshapur in Iran, Khotan in modern day China. So the game is an all-encompassing game which has all civilizational values of Bharata.
The dharmic values.
Yes. And there is
Uh,
immense amount of learning also as you go along the game.
what made you feel that today's world, and when you have seen the Western gaming culture about winning and conquering and killing, the violence is also there, winning is also there. So, what made you, feel that today's world we need this kind of a game?
So, ma'am, the game has a competitive element to it, but that competition or competitiveness is sattvic in nature in a way. So, in a way, we compete against each other to attain moksha. And how do you attain moksha? We attain moksha by exactly like real life, based on our karmas. Okay, so the idea is to live a very balanced, perfect life as per our Hindu culture. And it is a very obvious question you would ask: how do you, what do you define as a perfect balanced life? So
Mhm.
essentially, in the game as well, there are four main things that you have to balance. First is your personal goals and ambitions. Second is your duties as a family person, your duties towards your family. Third is your personal spiritual journey. And fourth is your responsibility towards your society, civilization, and dharma as a whole. So, a proper acute balance of all these four is what helps us attain moksha. And of course, utilization of proper resources and all that is also an integral part. However, the competitive element is about how well you live your life, how much you contribute to the society, help other people's. do your duties as a family person. So essentially, it is competitive in nature, very competitive in fact, but it is sattvic competition. And secondly, the game is very strategic. There is a lot of planning, thinking that is involved. So previously, we made the game for say 6, 7 people, but since people used to think a lot over their moves, we had to reduce it down to 4 people or 4 players. So yeah, so that's how it is currently.
So in today's world, when we see the violence and how it is affecting the the mentality, the mindset of children or whoever is playing. So I think this kind of sattvic game or a dharmic game that will have not negative, but another the spiritual aspect will be more emboldened. What do you think? Because there are suicides and things like these happening due to games actually.
Ma'am, 100% true. 100. You hit the nail on its head. This is a humongous problem which the society is facing right across the entire world. In fact, we know about mass shootings and all that we see in the West, especially in America. And there have been several research papers and arguments over it, key gun control and all that. But the core reason behind it is that this violence is extremely normalized. It is normalized in the society, normalized in the minds of the kids. And it is there are research papers which prove how the games that they play affect their psyche and everything uh, in their day-to-day habits and behavioral patterns. So even I, as a kid, all every Indian kid must have played games like say GTA Vice City. It's just mindless violence where you trample around, sitting in your car, trample around people, or take a gun, kill people. So these kinds of game definitely have an impact on your psyche. And unfortunately, 90 to 95% of the games that are there in the Indian market as well, they are completely Western. And even if they are made by Indian origin people or Indian people, they are inspired from Western ideas. So since that kind of since the games and everything they affect our psyche so much, it is imperative in a way that we have something which is Bharatiya in nature, which teaches us Bharatiya civilizational values and which has a sattvic positive effect on our mind as well. And this is a huge problem. You see, I mean, we have given our sources of entertainment to the West. It's unfortunate how this Marxist or everything that is Western has hijacked our entertainment framework. And this Bharatiya entertainment was extremely high level, very sophisticated in nature. So Bharatiya entertainment sources never were just means of entertainment, like Western sources are. Bharatiya entertainment sources were also a means of spiritual elevation. They also helped better the lives of ordinary people who played it. So, just to give you a fine example, snakes and ladders that we played, Moksha Patam, it was a variant of it was developed by Santan Jnaneshwar from Maharashtra. So, the snakes in the game represented Shadarikus, which we call as Kama, Krodha, Madamoha, Lobha, Matsarya. So every time a kid played it, they realized that if I engage in too much karma, too much krodha, too much jealousy, Matsarya, life will bring me down. Similarly, if I do some good karmas, life will take me up. Those were the ladders. So that is how values were ingrained. Basically, games were also a madhyam of imbibing samskars into the players. So while making Mumukshu as well, this was the foundation through which I wanted to make the game. These were the core values that were essential while I made the game.
I think we can safely say that it's decolonization of the gaming.
100%, ma'am. That was, and I just don't limit this to gaming as well. The entire entertainment sector needs that revamp, ma'am. And more importantly, these entertainment sources are not only limited to this. as a source of engagement, but they have risen two steps higher, that they are now representative of nation's soft power or culture or civilizational soft power. You see, why do females, especially girls of in their teens or in their 20s, they are so fascinated with Korea? It is because of their soft power of K-pop or K-dramas. We have so much more than that, but it's unfortunate we haven't
Explore that.
explored that possibilities at all. Exactly, in any entertainment sources. So just to give you a very amazing example, a few
Mhm.
years ago there was a Chinese game that came out. It was based on the legend of Sun Wukong. So Sun Wukong, if you know, in East Asian philosophy, it's the most famous character after Buddha.
Right.
Okay. So many people, if our viewers are, if they have heard about, if they are anime fans or if they have heard about a cartoon called Dragon Ball Z, the protagonist Son Goku, it is inspired from that same Son Wukong. So this Son Wukong is actually inspired from Hanuman.
Okay.
People don't know it is the same monkey god story. So but the main thing is this game, it broke the western market. It was a huge hit amongst people. So think tanks all over the world realized, including our leadership, realized how such games and entertainment sources can be much more influential or be a amazing source of soft power in the coming time. So they realized that so Chinese government used to spend thousands of crores in Confucius centers. So Confucius was their great thinker, like we have
Right.
Chanakya. So they realized instead of spending thousands on crores on building such things, let's push games like these. So even Indian government did realize it. Our Prime Minister himself spoke about this in the Independence Day speech of 2024 of 2025. Even a few weeks ago, he spoke about it. But it has to show in the grassroots. The state governments and everyone has to take that initiative. So essentially, he also started gaming awards, and he personally met the gamers. So we are at the right place at the right time. It's just that the people in power, they have to also take that initiative to take this forward. This is literally one of the most critical and most important industry in the coming future.
Right, right. So, like coming back to Mumukshu, who do you think will truly enjoy Mumukshu? I mean, there is some age group that you think you are catering to, or it's beyond this thing. It's
Yeah, sure, man. So the thing is, the funny thing is, when I started working on Mumukshu, I made the game for say 13 to 25 age group was my ideal target. However, when I started testing it across India, so I've tested it in around 12 to 13 cities of Bharat. More than 380 people have played it. And interestingly, while making it, I made it for 13 to 25 age group as something which is a perfect blend of education, entertainment, sanskars, Bharatiya Dharma. But amongst the most people who liked it, there were people in their 40s, 50s, even 60s, because they understood the crux of the game, the life values of the game. They could relate it with their life. The patterns they have followed throughout their life. It gets replicated in the game. So it is something that they were thoroughly invested in, interested in. And so many, including stalwarts from our education industry, like Gauri Mahoekar ji, she was the ex-dean of Mumbai University, currently a director at CIV, Swaroop Sampath ma'am, the late Radhakrishnan Pillai ji, they absolutely loved it. Padma Bhushan, Dr. Kapil Kapoor loved it so much. Most of them, most of the people who played the game told me how it is unfair that it is only limited to 13 to 25. So we extended it for all age groups over 13. So why 13? Because the game it requires a lot of thinking, planning, serious are an integral part of the game. So it is something kids find it difficult to think at that level. But of course, there have been kids even during our testing who have been younger than 13 and have played the game exceptionally well. But provided they have some kind of support from or help from their parents or teachers. So yeah, so that's how the game is made. It introduces children to in a way such complex and very sophisticated dharmic concepts of four
So,
Purusharthas, four ashramas,
uh,
Pancharugas, Maya, etc.
right, right. So, like for someone who has never played, what does a player actually do in the game? How does a typical game begin, and what does the player become? What is the ultimate objective? In a nutshell, if you can tell about.
Sure, sure. No, I mean, yeah, knowing about all these intricate, complex concepts, it may seem overwhelming, but no, it is just theory in a way how the game is played. But we deliberately tested it amongst this Gen Z people who usually don't have that kind of pull towards all these things. Purely from a gaming perspective, all you need to know is the basic gaming rules, and you can just play as it is. These theoretical concepts are something which are applied and you learn automatically while playing. So while playing, you play as yourself in the game, and the idea is to attain moksha. So you go through ashramas, and the idea is just to live your life. You have to fulfill certain mandatory objectives like your responsibility towards your family, your personal goals and ambition, your spiritual journey, and ultimately, and of course, your responsibility is towards society and dharma. So you earn resources based on how you play. There are two key resources: money and kripa of your ishta devta. So you have to spend the resources properly, strategically, and fulfill your objectives, that is karmas. And based upon the karmas that you have done throughout your life, you get moksha points, and based upon that, how well you have done in your life is decided.
So, what does winning look like in Mumukshu?
So, winning is based, as I said, winning is based on the karmas that you have done throughout your life. So, once you have successfully managed the objectives and throughout your grahastha ashram life and vanaprastha ashram life, if you have fulfilled the mandatory objectives that are needed in life of a Hindu grahastha, you are eligible to enter something that we call as sannyas ashram or moksha dwar. Dwar means a door. So once you enter into it, your karmas that you have done throughout your life get fructified and you get rewarded. And then based on that, moksha points we are able to calculate. So and then based on moksha points, you and based on the points earned by your fellow competitors, a winner is decided.
So that means, player who's 13-year-old, he can be in a grahastha ashram, or there are stages. How do you define it?
Yeah, ma'am. The age or the maturity or the understanding of all these complex things are
Mhm.
not needed at all. Okay.
Okay, okay.
It is pure, matlab, someone who has absolutely zero knowledge of about anything that is Indian. Forget
Mhm.
our values or dharmic aspects. Even if they are so, there have been kids who are from Netherlands and they are hardly 12-year-old, and they played the game and they aced it. They loved it so much they have already pre-ordered. Their parents have loved it. It also served as a perfect family bonding exercise as well. So all that doesn't matter at all. It is purely about gaming. Even if you approach it from a purely entertainment point of view, you can completely play it and enjoy it.
But Sahil, like you said, that winning is not always, successful financial outcomes. So, is it can someone become successful financially and still lose the game?
Oh, 100%, ma'am. That is a recipe of disaster in a way. If you focus too much on only financial wealth, or if you
Ah.
focus too much on only one aspect of life,
Mhm.
that is what the essence of the game is. That balance is most important. So of course you can be a little inclined towards one particular field. That is completely fine. But the thing is, you can't ignore everything else. You have
Right.
to maintain a certain amount of balance. Even if you are inclined towards one particular thing, that is okay. So there have been multiple times in the game that people have been very financially wealthy, but uh, karmically they have been not that rich, and that is why they have lost the game. So yeah,
Okay.
that can happen quite a few times while playing.
And like you have used dharma, karma, moksha, grace points, and gurus and ishtadev. So how did you decided to include them in a game? Was there any concern that people might find these ideas a little complicated or offensive or anything like awkward?
Uh, Yeah, to be very honest, ma'am, yes, I did. It was a very so this was something which was very I was worried about essentially at the beginning, but then I so it was also a bit of my something which came out of during my sadhana. Some people, so there was a deep motivation about making. So I was working abroad previously. I had to leave everything. I have to focus on this full time and then make it. So no, for me, it was definitely a very difficult journey. But while making, so I realized there people are beginning to understand the importance of Bharatiya Dharma, Bharatiya culture, and because of the kind of the world that we are living in currently, people have started understanding the importance of it as well. So I genuinely, and as I said, the Prime Minister himself was also speaking on this. So I realized that we are at the right place and at the right time. Secondly, the biggest problem is that there is no representative of Indian culture or Bharat across the gaming industry. So there is a huge void. So I realized it is very necessary for someone to fill that void, and I was just glad ki Devi Ma chose me to work on this. And so I purely believe ki it is because of her grace and kripa that this is happening.
Right, right. Another important aspect that I saw in the game is like modern games, they basically focus entirely, in fact, on individual. But here, like in your game, there is a role of society, family, responsibility. So, what do you think? Why did you choose this different approach? Because kids and young generation, they might have, do have this tendency of being that individuality is it's overpowering nowadays.
So true, ma'am. And this individuality being overpowering is purely due to the Westernism that we have unfortunately, what do you say, imported. And it is very artificial in nature. It was never a part of our DNA throughout our
History.
thousands of years of history.
Hmm.
But because the Gurukul system was stopped, this artificial Western model of education was artificially imposed on us. This is where this individuality came into us and our lifestyle. Bharatiya life was always about uh, family, about society, and about proper union of all these responsibilities and maintaining a proper balance of all your responsibilities. A responsibility of a householder, responsibility. That is essentially why we call it dharma. Your dharma of a proper son or daughter, dharma of being a married person or grahasti, dharma of a father, or dharma of being a part of the society or a nation. So we were never individualistic. So the motivation for bringing this is purely that we are Bharatiyas and we need to return back to our roots. We need to return back to how we were, because this individualistic lifestyle is definitely detrimental to everything that Bharat represents, and it is a recipe of disaster going forward. You see the sheer amount of divorces, kids leaving parents, and so there is literally a collapse of society. This familial structure is what essentially holds dharma. Dharma is that which sustains. So that sustenance part is a huge responsibility that a family carries. So
So,
that is why the element of family is so important in Mumukshu.
that's how you explain that family plays a very important role in this game. And
Correct.
what if you think, like, if someone ignores family and social responsibility and still succeed? Is it possible?
No, it's not possible, ma'am. So there are in the game there are certain mandatory objectives, mandatory karmas that you have to fulfill, and amongst them, taking care of your family, taking fulfilling your responsibility towards society is central to it. So no, you can't win the game without fulfilling your mandatory objectives. These mandatory objectives are essentially inspired from Pancharuna concept of our shastras.
Okay, so like, people will be able to understand these concepts. Are they explained in a, like, easy manner, easy or simple language?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is why we don't approach the such concepts theoretically at all.
Right, right,
The
obviously.
yes, these concepts are just a part of the game, and you apply. And after you apply, after you play, you realize, oh, this is a important concept of Indian lifestyle. And provided they also want some kind of theoretical knowledge, we are also giving a book where every smallest detail of the game is explained, mentioned. The historical aspects of the game are mentioned. So, as I said, you explore Bharatvarsha as a whole. You learn about individual history, culture,
I think
local
it is
heroes.
very important. I think it is
Yeah.
very important. Just like, with the games, the other board games that we get, there is always a manual, which
Yes.
is
Yes.
like, not everybody is interested to go through. But when it has concepts like dharmic, the, like, how to lead your life, how to play the game. So I think it will generate the kind of interest in the value system that we had, that we had a heritage of. So
Correct. Yeah.
there another interesting like things that I found in the game is the grace point and siddhis. Is it the similar like the Western games where you get the energy or power or some arms at every level when you cross or something like that?
Not exactly, ma'am. So, grace points that we call them kripa points. They and the siddhis they are interlinked with each other.
Mhm.
So basically, just like real life, when you attain a certain level of kripa, when you attain a certain level of bhakti or devotion of your Ishtadevata, you are blessed with siddhis. So essentially, the same pattern is followed in the game. The kind of superpowers that you ask, they are determined by what kind of Ishta Devta you have chosen. So if you have chosen Devi as your Ishta Devta, the superpowers are inspired from Devi folklore or usually things which are associated with Devi worship. Similarly, if you have chosen Bhagwan Vishnu as your Ishta Devta, the superpowers are inspired from the stories and the itihasa related to Bhagwan Vishnu. So, for example, one of the superpowers is Vamana. It is amongst the Dasha avatars of Bhagwan Vishnu. And it is a very famous story about with King Bali. So they ask for three steps. So in the game also you ask for three essential karmas that your opponents have done and they can't refuse. So if played strategically, if played properly, these siddhis give you a huge edge over your opponents. So essentially, it is like a winning combination if you use it well. Similarly, for Devi, the siddhis are tantric superpowers of Sthamman or Vashikaran. But you have to use it strategically well, and just to invoke it itself is very difficult. But if you manage to do that, you get a good edge in the game. So, as I said, the game has to be played very thoughtfully. a lot of strategic elements and thinking is involved.
I think that's a great thing. Another thing is like you have talked about that like the players can learn about different parts of Bharat and the cultural traditions of Bharat, like all the different parts. So, was the education always intended to be part of the experience? What do you think? Hope that players will discover while playing?
Yes, ma'am. So this was something which was always in the back of my mind, because,
Hmm.
as I said, ki I wanted this not just only for entertainment. It should be extremely productive experience. So even if a parent is buying something for their kids, they should realize that this is not just a mere time pass, or this is not just a time pass activity, which 90% of the times the kids engage in. This is
Right,
something which is productive, and even if four family members come together to play, they get huge value out of it. So there is immense amount of learning. I'll give you this example. So as you can see, on your screens, this is a location card which is there in the game. It's a location card of Imphal. It's the capital of Manipur. Unfortunately, very few people know about the greatness of Manipuri culture,
right.
and it's the same about for every state. But let's just see this as an example. So in the objectives, you can see objectives are essentially the karmas that you can do. So fund and encourage a group of Manipuri Rasa Leela dancers. So automatically, when a kid from Kerala or Maharashtra plays the game, she will know ki, oh, there is a famous dance form of Manipur called Rasa Leela, like we have Bharatnatyam in the south. Similarly, you can see fund a research on Manipuri origins of hockey and polo, world famous games. No one knows that the origin of these games come from Bharat, come from Manipur. So all of these, just by playing the game, they know about such very less known history, and if they want to know more about it in detail, they can always refer to the book. So that's what I was saying. So book has every smallest detail that is there in the game, backed by proper research, meticulous research. So we have Dr. Padma Bhushan, Dr. Kapil Kapoor, who's in a way mentoring us with this research aspect of the game. So every smallest bit of research and every smallest bit of the game is properly backed by resources and research.
So, like on a broader scale, young people today are dealing with career pressure, social media, anxiety, and constant competition. To do these realities influence the way, somehow when you were designing Mumukshu?
Definitely, ma'am. See, challenges and obstacles are a important part of our life, and naturally it will be a part of the game as well then. So essentially, how do our bad choices or obstacles or problems come to us? So of course there are challenges in the game that are inherently there in the game. Along with that, there is also something which is called as effect of Maya. Yeah, in the location card which you will be seeing right now, effect of Maya is mentioned. So effect of Maya essentially is like an obstacle. Also, it is like in our Dharma, Maya is something which distracts us from our goal. So in the game as well, it plays the same negative role in the game, that it through the madhyam of say Shadaripu's, it distracts you. So in the game also, these obstacles or the this negative influences and everything, uh, effect of Maya is something which plays a very strong role. So while making every decision, while planning your next move, you have to take everything into consideration while playing.
Right, right, right. So, some people might say that a game rooted in Bharatiya civilizational ideas appeal only to a niche audience. So, how do you respond to that? Do you see Mumukshu primarily as an Indian game, or do you think its message is universal? I mean, you
Uh,
have talked about you have uh, people from other countries, they have played it. So, how is your experience with that? And do you still feel that there is a restriction, kind of like, because it has Bharatiya civilizational ideas.
See, this is extremely unfortunate, ma'am, that the people of the oldest civilization of the world hesitate and shy away from being proud of their own identity, showing, talking about their identity, and just and so the foundation of our of the game is based on that. The game is as universal as it gets. It is essentially about life. It is about living your life, and forget the dharmic part of it. These values that the game represents, there is it is universal. Giving back to the society, or your duties towards your family or stuff like that. These are, regardless of which culture you come from, these are universal values. So the game has been thoroughly tested by people who are not from India as well. And trust me, they loved it so much. It's just that we don't know the amount of craze and curiosity foreigners have for Indian culture.
So,
It is because we have been.
so what
No,
what is the most challenging part, of building this game so far, and what surprised you the most?
so the challenging part was like we are, as I said, there are so many deep, intricate, complex concepts which we just discussed about. Having them into one game, then the historical knowledge. So the combination of dharmic values, historical knowledge, gamifying it, and most important part was to making it engaging, fun, and strategic. So such deep, intricate concepts, gamifying it and to make it very engaging was extremely difficult. But no, with grace of your Ishta Devta, with Kripa, everything became possible. So that was the most challenging part. But the fruit of it, the result of it is that everyone who has tried the game has absolutely loved it. So yeah, so that's how it is as of now.
So, like, see, many people may assume Mumukshu is a digital game. So, is it currently only a board game, or do you envision an online or mobile version in the future?
Yes, ma'am. So currently, there would be three versions of Mumukshu. Immediately, the board game physical version of Mumukshu will be launched. Post that, there would be a digital version of it as well. And after that, there is a VR version of it as well. I mean, we have got several offers for VR. People have loved it. So VR is also something that we are exploring in, and we will be starting to work on it soon. And as I said earlier, we see Mumukshu as a as not just limited to gaming, but as the entertainment sector as a whole. So yeah, that's our future plans for this.
So, apart from Mumukshu, there will be other projects also, so based on Dharma.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, Indian knowledge systems or Indian civilization is the foundation at which we are working. We have I've already started working on the next project, and it is in a way more exciting and more bigger and grand. But first, the focus will be on getting this out in the market, and working on the other versions of it as well. But yeah, so that is why I need a strong team as well. So right now we are raising funds essentially for that only. The project and the scale of the work is huge, and we need the right kind of people, partners, guidance, mentorship, investments in this journey forward.
So, like, if someone plays Mumukshu and remembers just one lesson from the experience, what would you like that lesson to be?
Oh, that's a tricky question. One most important thing I would say about Mumukshu is that please don't be individualistic. It is an essential dharma of you when you take birth in this land to give it back in some form of another. You need not be a soldier and go to defend its borders. You can do it in your own way. You can help the society. You can donate it to a local NGO. You can make a school, or do give back to the society in any way you can. So that would be one thing, and that is a very core aspect of the game as well.
Okay, so I think life itself may be the greatest game we ever play, where every decision matters, balance is essential, and victory is inward, according to this Mumukshu. If this conversations, I appeal to the audience, if this conversation sparked your curiosity, you are looking up Mumukshu and see whether this way of thinking about life resonates with you. I think for someone curious about listening to this, what do you think, Sahil? Where can they learn more about Mumukshu?
Yeah. So, ma'am, we are launching our website soon. The website would be mumukshugame.com. Uh, and apart from that, they can directly contact me on my email ID, which is sahilrs@zohomail.in, or just WhatsApp me on 9969 there will in the description also you will find my contact details, and I'd love to know your thoughts. If there are any feedback, even those are welcome as well. And we will be soon open to pre-orders. So yeah, I'd be waiting for talking, discussing with all of you. So once again, I'd really love to know your thoughts on the game.
And I think once it is in the market and people start engaging in it, playing it, we will have some more questions, some more guidance. With that, I think I thank you, Sahil, for creating a game that reminds us how to live, not just how to win. And I request our viewers to encourage this unique Bharatiya game venture. And if you like the episode, click on the live icon and subscribe to our channel. Thank you once again. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you, audience.
धन्यवाद मैम, थैंक यू फॉर दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी, धन्यवाद.